Whoa, stop what you're doing. We have Riders Republic news. This is not a drill, people. Well, yeah, kind of. It's not a release date, but it's still news surrounding the game. We're going to get to that at the top of news. Then a little deeper into the show in the main topic, Mitch and I are going to be talking about the production process, what it takes to put on an event like Real Steep in the Tartiflette games. All of that plus a whole bunch more coming at you right now in episode 19 of Après STEEP.
We got a little bit more news about Riders Republic, and this news comes from the Entertainment Software Rating Board. Yes, the people who put those letters at the bottom of your game. It looks like Riders Republic will be rated T14, and one of the things they cited were the lyrics in certain songs in the game. We're going to go more into this news in a separate Riders Republic video, but I'm digging the vibe of these songs.
Well, if you missed it this weekend, our main topic is going to mean nothing to you. So make sure you go and check out the Real Steep Top 6 Finals video on the channel right now. It premiered this past weekend. So yeah, if you have not seen it yet, go give that video a watch before you hit this week's main topic.
In Backcountry Brawl news, we are going to leave the submissions open for another week, so those will now close on Sunday, May 9th. Yes, Mother's Day. So if you're still interested in competing, just make sure to fill out the form, upload your run. It's going to be a live stream, so we can have as many entries as you want. We could go for hours. And right now we're aiming at May 22nd or 23rd for that live stream. That, of course, could change, but those are the targeted dates right now on the calendar.
Yeah, full transparency on that one. I'm getting surgery coming up soon, so we'll see how I'm feeling by the 22nd. But enough about me. It's time to shift the focus on over to Shred This Spot number 7, taking place at BA. The folks over there decided to mix it up with locations this time. I mean, of course, we've seen Kitchik, we've done all of the American Urbans, the backcountry, all of those huge sends, but now it's time to see what Yins can do in a very, very small Japanese village. This is a challenge like none before, so you have to bring your A game. These submissions are due Thursday, May 13th. This week's main topic was a suggestion by Flair, so thank you very much for that. After this point, right now, right here, it is spoiler territory. So if you have not seen the Real Steep Finals, make sure you pause this video, open up a new window, go check that event out. It is a cool 30 minutes, 30 seconds, and Mitch, I believe it's 30 milliseconds, right? 30s all across the board here?
Yeah, I don't know if it's milliseconds. I think it's frames because it's at 60 frames, but it was at like 30, 50 when I put out like the second version. I was like, nah, it's got to cut down to 30. So I cut a little bit of the song off at the end from where I wanted it to, but I just had to get the 30.
Well, I hope all of you appreciate that as much as I do. But yeah, if you have not gone and watched that, go and watch it now, because officially, right now it's spoiler territory. This suggestion came from Flair, our second place winner. Thank you so much, Flair. He was looking for us to go into detail about some of our favorite things about some parts, or just generally show you guys more about the behind the scenes, like the production and how all of these events kind of work. He was specifically focusing in on Real Steep. So this format, Mitch, is interesting. It is one of my favorite formats. It's the one where we feature our video reviews. So it's not us doing the play-by-play while they're going down. It's not a knuckle huck. It's not a big air competition where we are commentating in real time. We get to sit back, watch these videos, and come up with our best 1 or 2 sentences about the run. I really like that aspect.
Yeah, it's much different than us just, recording the on-camera segments and then watching the clips together and doing a couple takes to get some commentary down for each run. But even that now we've got pretty quick. This is completely separate where, we just film almost everything independently, and then just in the last few days it all comes together. But it's cool to compare how all of us talk about kind of the same features, the same tricks, the same things that impacted us when watching the videos. There's a lot of similarities between the judges in that respect.
I mean, you just said it right there. This format lends itself to, really picking out the best runs. Sometimes you watch like a knuckle huck and it's really hard to tell because the judges are putting scores in that you don't see. So until you see that number pop up on screen, you have no idea. Whereas this is, of course, the numbers are behind the scenes, but the video judges can all pick like the same thing to talk about. And you just really get to see where the judges' eyes are traveling. You get to learn like what myself and Mitch are looking out for throughout these videos. I really like all of the feedback that these kind of videos can provide for the riders. And I feel like our return competitors, the Flares, the Lucases, the Nate Hotshots, the Just Steepits, well, not in this event, but I feel like when they watch these, our video reviews give them a little more to go off of for the next event. They're trying to tailor their runs and their performances to what Nick and Mitch, what this site is looking for.
Yeah, and it, again, just got better. I mean, even picking the top 6 was hard. There was a 3-way tie for 5, 6, and 7, so we had to re-vote on that. That was decided then by like 1 vote, so even that was really close. And then the people who missed the top 6 could have easily been the top 6 in the previous real events. So it's, that's why we do the fan vote too. Aramix was second in the fan vote. I think he finished 5th or 6th overall in this real steep. But I mean, the fans voted him second, so it's a toss-up.
That run was so good. I'm so happy when a newcomer can make their way up into the finals and shine as brightly as Aramix did. He absolutely crushed this one.
Yeah, and then for more behind the scenes of how these things go from start to finish, you're familiar with the submission period. So we set up a Google form, everyone submits their runs. Once that closes off, I put all of the runs unnamed into a form, and the judges just go through and do that 1 through 5 voting scale where give them a couple days to a week to do all their scoring, and then from there I'm able to pull the averages and get a pretty good idea of who's in the top 6 and then who's in the rest. We do have to go back and discuss sometimes, like this one where it was hard to draw the line at 6, so we got to see who's really there, and then even with that we got to discuss the top 3 to make sure that we really get the medals right.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt here, but I do want to touch upon talking about just this event. How long did this one event take for the judges to finalize?
I think I gave them a week, and especially with this one too, since we do the fan vote, the all runs premiere has to be at least, some time before the finals. We can't do them back to back like we just did with Slopestyle, because you guys are voting, so you have to see them, cast your vote, and then we put that in the final show. So the submissions were due on Sunday, and I gave them a week, so to the following Sunday, because all of the runs were airing on Saturday. So we didn't really need to make any hard decisions, although I think there was an extra week, but like the judges can take a week. Most of them I think had it in within a few days. So I just ask who's willing to judge this round. They can vote yes or no. If they do, they fill it out. It seems that way's working better and everyone just kind of wants to jump onto it. So it was within a few days. From there, I just put all of the runs into a single video, which is very easy. You just put all 13 runs in order, make sure I get the their names and their countries right, but that's it. I don't have to find music for most of it since you guys are providing tracks. Had to swap out a couple songs, but I usually just match the tempo and the genre and pick a song like that. And then Nick and I will get on a video call together and record the intro and the outro when we're on camera.
Those intros and outros have just, I know we've said it multiple times before right now, but they've gotten so much quicker. We sit down and it's like, oh yeah, we're ready to get to business, and 10 minutes goes by and we're done. And I'm looking at you like, is that it? Is that it? You're like, yeah, that's all we did. Something that used to take us an hour and 20 minutes to put together is now like 20 to 40 minutes. And that in itself is just such a huge improvement. And if you don't take anything else away from TFG, the editing process and the creation process has just become streamlined to a point where, you know, we can bang out an entire event's worth of video recording in, I don't know, an afternoon, like before dinner. And that's insane to me. You know, what was once an entire day process is now like, yeah, let's bang it out in a couple of hours.
Part of that goes too with the technical issues. We were trying to find what platform is best to record this stuff, because we got audio, we got video, it's got to be synced. It's hard to record do a video call, but record on our own machine separately. But in the beginning, I was screen recording Discord calls and splitting it up from there, and that wasn't working well. Discord either mistreated the audio or the video pretty bad.
Miserable.
We eventually found it's like a web solution, OBS Ninja, where I just send Nick a link to join a little meeting, and then I can open up OBS, which we use for streaming, and put him as a browser source, so it pulls a direct feed from his computer essentially, and I can mix our audio independently. I can record it in separate audio tracks too. So in OBS, I'll have, you know, both of us, our video inputs, and then both of our audio sources, and they're completely separate, but are recorded in one video file. So when I drag that into Premiere, it has our video, but then has our two separate audio tracks. So if one of us bumps the mic or one of us needs boosted louder than the other, I don't have to go through and chop up the tracks anymore, or even adjusting the sync. I can just pick one track, fix it up in Audition, and it's ready to go.
And, you know, it takes so much time to find all of those little technical aspects in the background. Like, we didn't find OBS Ninja until when? Do you know the event?
I think it might have been Ski Slope Style. It was just before the end of last season.
Yeah, so, you know, it takes forever to find some of these things. You know, hats off to Mitch for really putting in the work there and finding those. I want to address quickly before we move on to the final steps of production. You may have noticed my camera was just a hair better than an actual potato plugged into the wall. It was miserable, and there was nothing that could be done. There is nothing that I can put this blame on other than myself. I completely screwed that up, all myself. Thought I was being slick. I have two laptops. I have a Mac and I have a PC, and the Mac was charged and the PC was not. So instead of waiting for the PC to be plugged in and take that 2 minutes to just, you know, get the base power so I can turn it on, I decided to use my Mac. And lo and behold, found out that my Mac films like an actual garbage can, even with a full HD camera and my Shure microphone. Not an ad, but please sponsor us, Shure. You know, I put all my dongles in there, got the Mac all ready to roll, OBS Ninja pulled up, everything's ready to go, and I just look like absolute butt. So moving forward, Mitch, I'm gonna really need you to police my video quality to make sure I'm never using this Mac again, just because it is the easier option. I'm sorry, it will be much better the next time, I promise.
You're all good, and that's one of those things that we're talking about, that you got to do a bunch of these events or videos to discover, because it could be as weird as having your camera plugged into a different USB port and that changing it enough that people notice. Right. So, you know, and I've done it a ton where I'm talking, we have separate audio tracks. I've accidentally had them both on the same track and not realized, or I've had overlays on the screen and over our video until we've recorded a few. So, you know, eventually you start writing a list of every single thing you've done, so that when you do it again, you can just look at that list and get it all set up.
And, you know, you want to talk about the learning curve here, even just with Real Steep, this past video. When I recorded that and it looked like butt, you remember exactly what I said, don't you? Because you yelled at me the day after.
We thought it was just an exposure brightness and we could fix it in Premiere, and then it did not, because, you know, the quality wasn't there. So when you dragged the exposure, it just ruined the whole video. So you hear that a lot, like, oh, they'll fix it in post, and, you know, editors like to say, no, fix it now, and makes it easier. But in some cases, yeah, you can't fix it in post. It's just too far gone.
Yeah, that was my audio background hitting your video background, and they just clashed in this ugly, ugly war. You know, a lot of times you can salvage audio. If it's not terrible, you know, I'm recording on a decent microphone. The quality might be meh right here at this section, but it's a quality mic, so I will be able to fix it in post-production. But I thought the same thing was going to be, I thought it was going to be the same deal with my HD web camera. You know, it's recording in 1080 at 30 FPS. It's going to be fine. We're going to be able to fix it in post. It's just, it's the video that I'm seeing right now on the screen that looks really blown out. I had too much light on my face and I looked like a ghost. And I was like, yeah, it'll be fine. It'll iron out. It'll iron out. And the next day we're looking through it and Mitch goes, you know what? I'm over this. It's like, I'm going to give you Parsec and you're going to get in there and you're going to edit this thing yourself to try and make yourself look better. Like trying to teach me a lesson. And I get in there and I'm farting around and he's just sitting in the corner. I can hear him sipping his drink. And I'm like, oh, well, let's try. No, that won't work. Well, what about if we go, no, that just makes it look even worse. Well, now I'm all green. Mitch looks at me and he goes, yeah, he can't fix it in post. Fix it during the filming. I will take that to heart and will adjust for the next event. I am sorry, Mitch. That was a terrible mistake.
It is all good. But we got to cover the rest of it too.
Yes.
Not just get tied up in the video. You're good. Where is next? Oh, so the finals. We asked Just Steep It to, of course, be a guest judge. I can't remember when I asked him. I like to do it before all the runs are submitted, but you know, he was all on board on doing that and bringing his character into this, and we were excited. So once the judges had a top 6 kind of decided, once we made that distinction, I send them the top 6 and just say we're looking for 30 to 40 seconds per video. It doesn't have to be too long. And just record it how you want. Nick does the same thing. I do the same thing. I just watch the video, take a few notes, and then record myself talking about it. And return all of those back. Once they're in, it's pretty easy to just make sure the audio is all at the right level. I put them in a separate timeline and then kind of chop the thoughts up, and then I just have fun dragging and dropping like a puzzle until I get something that sounds good. So that's why, you know, all of us start off by saying, wow, like great job on pen. And then we start talking about tricks, and then I try and pull comments of everyone talking about tricks. Then we move to the editing and try and cover everyone talking about the editing. So it's fun to try and make all of those flow together.
You know, for these Tartiflet Games events, there are certain parts that are scripted. I'm not going to try and hide that fact. You know, a couple people mentioned a while back, like, you guys can just go and talk about the same thing, you know, for these TFG events. And the reality is, we do kind of have a script for those intros and outros that we are looking at on off to the side. But the coolest part about those videos that you're mashing up after every single run, those are 100% unscripted. You know, you look back at the event that we had Steep help out with, and there was a part where him and I both said the same exact thing, and you were able to edit that together. So we both said it at the same time. And that's what I was talking about with those video reviews. You know, as a competitor, I feel like it's really cool to watch those video reviews. And if they say, hey, that wall tap was awesome, and then the next person says, hey, I loved that wall tap, and the third person goes, man, that wall tap was insane. And the next time you do an edit, you're going to put some more wall taps in there, or you're going to make it look better, or you're going to take that concept and do it differently because you know that's what's catching their eye. You know, you can take away better notes, I feel, from these reviews, these video reviews, versus like the live play-by-play action.
Yeah, and these ones were longer too. I think each rider had like 2 minutes and 15 seconds of commentary for their minute 30 edit, but you know, we were all just bringing up good points, and you're right. You know, I hope to see some more of those flowing and planned transitions like Flair had, the rotating walls. Like, that's something huge that really took it to the next level, so people will take that away. Also, with the scripted stuff, we do that for the on-camera when we're recording the intros, the outros, because otherwise we would take forever arguing over what we're going to say, and we did that for the first several events. So now we have a pretty placeholder, like intro A is welcome back, this is the event. Then me saying the judges have done their stuff, but who's riding? And then we go to the riders, and then we come back to the camera, do like one more thing before we start throwing to the people. And in that script, we have it broken up a lot now, which you can watch the video now and notice. we try to only have both of us speak once before we do a transition to go to something else, because then we can do it all in one take and memorize those little segments. So the intro, like I said, Nick saying, "Welcome back, this is Real Steep," me saying, "The judges have judged, let's see who's competing." Then we wipe to a board, so we don't have to sit there and try and record a 3-minute piece without messing up. It's a little 20-second chunk, then we record some audio, then we go back to on camera. And we just try to get really smart with where transitions are happening so that we don't have to sit there for a long time and try and plan it all out.
Sidebar, not to make the episode. You want to put part of this script up for this part?
Yeah, I'll put the script up. I'll try and show different segments. I mean, we could do like a whole hour, 3 hour. I could show you all the Premiere stuff, but that would drag on forever. But yeah, you can see the script. It's, Mitch is saying this, Nick is saying this, italics for little notes, like the sketch we did with Just Steep It. I thought of that. I was like, he does all these sketches. I think we should introduce him some cool way. I had him just record his character doing different lines, and then I recorded myself. And then after I had us done, I sent it to Nick for Nick to record his reaction segment. So all of those were filmed separately. We planned it out well ahead of how we were going to do it, so it was pretty easy to pull off.
Yeah, the magic behind the scenes is prepared. You hear a whole lot of times, especially as a performer, I know that sometimes the magic that is put in front of a crowd is heavily scripted and heavily recorded and rehearsed, just to make sure that it is special every single time you see it. So, flying by the seat of your pants is great in some aspects, but for something like that intro where it needed to be literally, Mitch was saying the same things that Just Steep It was, you need to take the time and the effort to create that magic. And Mitch, I just think your editing skills are through the roof. They're getting better every single time. Your creativity is just exploding out of the walls that once contained it. It's just wonderful. There's nowhere but up for the Tartiflette games. And just to wrap up the whole production of this episode, after we get all of that stuff recorded, after all of the runs are submitted, all of the judging has been completed, and after you and I have put our ugly mugs on a camera, it's just left up to editing, right? Editing and uploading.
Yeah, it's editing, and I talked about it in Discord. We got several versions of it. This one, again, is kind of easy. We put all the runs together, the intro and outro segments, and then the commentary. Those are like the 3 main chunks. But once I get a lot of that done, I'll spit out a version, even though I know it's not perfect, but upload it so Nick can watch it. Just Steep It got to watch it if he had any feedback. Then we open up another document in our drive folder of editing notes, and it's prioritized by what is critical, what needs to be changed, like a typo or missing audio or transitions. And then stuff that would be nicer, like if we could shorten the timing on this, or maybe tweak the colors on this a little bit. Those are things that if I have time at the end of the week before we gotta upload the final version, then we can add those things in.
Yeah, it's an organized hot mess over here. That's the best way to explain it.
You just gotta, take good notes is what I like to do, and just get feedback all the time and get feedback early. You don't want the last minute to be the final feedback. So there was something you wanted to change. The third version I uploaded is the one that you guys watched.
Oh, yeah.
There was something Nick saw that's like, if you're making more changes, can you do this? But if not, this one's good.
Yeah, it was super last minute. I think you sent that edit at like 5:30 in the afternoon, in the evening, and I got back to you at like 8:30. So 3 solid hours later, I'm like, hey, I don't know if you're still editing, but I have one more note. And you're like, nope, it's done. It's up. We're done.
It was the length of the transitions in the outro segments between outro A, outro B, and outro C. You're like, can you shorten those a little bit? I'm like, nope.
Yeah, and it's just...
If I had to change something else, I would. Something, those transitions is like, I didn't have enough time to. I was kind of busy.
Right.
But, I could have done it. But yeah, we just have kind of a tier list.
Well, if this was interesting to you, like Mitch said a little bit ago, we could go on talking about TFG for like an hour, 3 hours. So if you guys would like a stream where you can ask questions and we can talk about our processes and everything, maybe share one of the screens on Mitch's end to see how the video editing works in Premiere and all that stuff, we would be more than excited to do that. So let us know down in the comments if you would like to dedicate a weekend to just talking production. You know, maybe we get someone else, maybe we get like Just Steep It or Steep, someone to come in and compare production notes. We can make an event out of it. Yeah, let us know. I feel like that would be a lot of fun. We are just super nerds over here, so technology speaks to us like that, but who knows? Maybe we are the only ones in the community besides Flair who suggested this topic. Thank you for listening. It's time for the Riders Roundup.
This week's weekly challenge is the same as last week's weekly challenge because I put the folder up really late, so I did see people already submit it, even though I think I put it up Saturday or Sunday. We'll give it another week. If you want to submit photos, we are taking them on Mont Blanc, so take a couple photos over there in the Alps, and then you can submit them to the folder, the Google Photos folder listed down below.
Now, we might not have a weekly challenge for this week, but I do have a picture that I would like to feature, and that is a screenshot from Pancake's latest edit, Legendary Sledman. This video premiered on May 1st. It was intended to be Pancake's TFG Real Steep edit, but sadly, it just didn't meet the requirements. But look at this sled that he is riding through this video. I mean, I am very outdated on my sled knowledge. My sled game is poor. This one is gorgeous, and I feel like I have to go in and buy the DLC, find the challenge, do whatever I can to get this sled, because I think I would use it a little more if it looked like this.
I knew you'd fall in love with those colors, and that was an insane edit, just pulling off those tricks with sled. I think I even saw Nate pass over his Sled King crown to Pancaked and dubbing him, I dubbed him, I think, what was it? King Slederick II. So Nate was the first, but Pancaked is taken over, so there might be a royal battle happening soon.
Hey, we are the perfect channel for it. If we need to do a head-to-head, if one of you calls out the other one and asks us to do a 1v1 duel competition, I think we can make that happen, right?
We can definitely make that happen.
Yeah. So let's see it. I'm here for some steep bloodshed. Go and check out Pancake's video. It is linked down below in the description. And we have one final submission for this roundup coming from Lucas.
He posted his first draft of his Real Steep edit. So the one that we saw, he took home the bronze medal. So it was a very worthy run. It was so hard to pick the top. I mean, they all should have won. They all could win. All of you can win. But like we were saying, put out several versions. This was his first draft of Real Steep. So you can see a lot of the tricks, but you can also see how he improved them for the final version. Like the ski going up the side of the bridge support, it looks much better in his final version. He's got placeholder text in certain areas where he knew he wanted a paraglide transition but hadn't filmed it yet. So he just has blank text, which we do in the videos too. So cool to see how, he has it set up the same way.
I really feel like this is a trend that should take off for TFG events. People uploading like, oh, here's my rough draft. Here's the run that inspired the run that I built for this TFG competition. Something behind the scenes. I love talking about our behind the scenes. I would love to see the riders behind the scenes. Lucas, Flair, Nate, Hotshot, start uploading some stuff that's like, here are these 30 failed attempts from this one trick that won the competition for me that I just didn't make. I would really enjoy something like that. I don't think it takes any credit away from that rider. Obviously we're not just one-shotting these edits. You can't lie, you can't hide. I know that you're taking your time and going trick by trick trying to get it perfect, but seeing that process is always a fun journey.
I agree. That would be something super fun to watch after an event if people had different drafts of their edits. And you know what I'd also like to see? This episode finally. And I'm seeing like 30 minutes on my recording, so
Yeah.
Let's go.
we've been stretching these ones out. All right, let's rifle through the only scripted part of Après STEEP. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode. If you want more Nick and Mitch content, feel free to join us over on our Instagram at Nick and Mitch YT. You can also click the link down below, go to our link tree, and find that ambulance that's in the background. No, you can find our website, nickandmitch.com. You can also find our Discord, where the community hangs out in between Tartiflet Games events.
Yes, and a thank you goes out to our members on the YouTube channel, our executive producer, Bonecrusher2D, our co-producers, It's the Mort and my mom, and our fans and Fans Plus. If you want to, you can become a member and get some special perks, like we upload the intro edit for Real Steep a couple days early, and Après Steep goes up a day early, so you can get some cool perks. If not, just subscribe, because we'll have plenty more from Steep and Riders Republic.
Be on the lookout for some new content. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you click that notification bell to be in the know. Thank you so much for tuning in for episode 19 of Après STEEP. We'll see you next week, same place, same time for episode 20. Take it easy. I'm Nick.
And I'm Mitch.
And we'll see you on the slopes.
Keep dancing with the devil, but it is alive.